They will not go. Only if you really, really know where they are. I don't even know what's the folder for those things. They don't tell me that.
I'm sure they don't tell you.
Yeah. So I'm not sure about that one. But we'll see here for the radius, yes, there is confirmation. We'll check here the radius. See, there's a confirms here. Because changing frequency is something really critical. We don't take it easy. We actually have a situation now with a satellite that every 6 months there's another satellite. Well, there's always another satellite, but every 6 months it comes at the same time that our satellite comes. And it has the same frequency. So it destroys completely our bus, our link. We have considered to change the frequency. But it's just one day or half a day. Changing frequency is really, you need to really know what you're doing. So for now we have not executed that option. But if you want, and if you see here, you're changing. In this case, you can actually change uplink and downlink. So if you really need to be careful what you're doing, because if you change uplink frequency and you don't know to what you're changing, or you forgot to what you're changing, or the satellite did not pick the command properly, then yeah. So in this case, you do have first. So the sequence is first you request a change. You request. So you request to which one you want to change. You specify the frequency in hertz. And once you execute, the satellite is going to return some packet saying, this is the number you're talking about, be sure this is the number you're talking about, and then you send a confirm. You send a confirm saying, yes, this is really the number I'm talking about, you change it.
So you send to the satellite reply back, and then you confirm again?
Yes.
So that can be done within one pass?
Yes, this is pretty fast. All these commands we're talking about here, so not the pictures, not the files, but these things, you can get an acknowledgement back in 4 seconds or something. You get a reply really fast. And the same thing applies for the TXS. This one is less. If you just change the frequency for S-band, you always can put it back again. Because you do have uplink. Just really check, don't change uplink without really being sure.
And the system remember the old frequency?
Yeah, so it goes back to the RAMs and the FRAMs. If the system resets, it will go back to the old one. What you wrote on the flight parameter on the FRAM, I think. So every time there is a reset, it will get back to the values you saved on those flight parameters. So it can go back. But also probably need to send a reset. There's something, I'm not sure how it works if you don't contact during normal operations, but during LEOPS we have a setting in a satellite. If it has not received any command from the ground in 3 days or something, or 5 days, you'll reset to old values. So it's a really safety mechanism that if we messed up with the numbers and suddenly we cannot talk to the satellite for 5 days, we will come back with the old frequencies that we had, that we know work. So sometimes we put some little nice things. And there's the famous reboot. We're almost at the end. There's a lot of things you can reboot. Some independent, other more to each other. You can reboot many things at the same time, that's why you have options. So this is the antenna system. I can reboot the antenna system, uplink, and reboot downlink. Reboot the radio part, hard reset or soft reset. At the same time, I can reboot the DCS, EPS, so the batteries, the platform as well. Everything can be rebooted. Yeah, even the payload, so the camera, if the camera needs to be rebooted, you just reboot it here. This is usually the command that kind of takes longer, because the satellite needs to, if you reboot the antennas, it's probably faster. But don't forget that if you reboot the batteries, everything goes down.
How often you have to reboot and
Probably just if something goes wrong.
something go wrong.
Yeah, or if we do a software update, then you reboot to start again.
How do we know which one have to reboot it? Is something failed?
Yeah, it depends on what is failed, right? So if you have, we have right now in one of the old satellites, the radio sometimes goes into a funny state, kind of moves by itself on different modulation schemes. So in that case, you just say, okay, reboot that radio because you're just going nuts. Only because something goes wrong. So we don't reboot anything for weeks. We usually don't reboot anything. We might be more rebooting in the beginning, in the LEOP and commissioning phase, if you're trying stuff. But if everything goes fine, you also don't need to reboot anything. And in specific cases, just remember that even if you reboot the power system or the radios, they go back to the settings that they had on the FRAM.
So the rebooting you have to do manually.
You have to ask it manually, yeah. So if something goes wrong, there are mechanisms for the satellite to reboot. So in the morning, one of the first things we do is to check what's the uptime, when was the last reboot. There are mechanisms, the satellite, because something goes wrong, it reboots itself. But you might want to do it yourself because something happened, or because you just want to go back to old parameters. You don't want to go one by one putting them back. You reboot it. It's not something we do usually. It just might be needed.
In the list we have like soft reset and hard reset. Soft is like software reset.
It's in terms of how do you request it. So soft reset is like when you do on your laptop, you go shut down. And hard reset, you just put the power line, and it does have to reset.
Like you just turn off the solid state switch and then it will.
Yeah, you really force it to reset. I think it's when you really want to do a reboot, we tend to use the hard one. I mean, you really want to do a reboot. If you just want to check something, or it's just okay, let's do a little try, then you can do a soft reset. So software hard is not software hardware, is nicely asked or forced. There's still a lot to come. We just finished this one. So you also get the reset. These are the flight parameters we talked before. If you know the numbers, you can reset them. And you see you can reset RAM or FRAM, depending on the memory you want to talk about. You can also reset these channels. For instance, if the spin rate goes really high, you see it, okay, now the spin rate is really high. Okay, I know that already. If you keep the same values there, the spin rate, that old value will still be there because it's the maximum value. So you might want, okay, now let's reset all of them and start counting the mean and maximum values again. That's an option. We don't tend to use it because min-max, everything in the satellite lasts 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks, the value is gone. Then we have some SD cards. Oh, maybe we'll stop after the SD cards. We got it. The SD cards you can get information. I'm not sure how many SD cards there are in your satellite. You can get information on the status of it and how full it is from here. Again, you can choose from which radio to download because it's faster if you do S-band.
Yes, I'm just wondering, you're going to have the handbook of this program, right? And for each function, have an explanation, this, do that for all functions that listed?
So there will be, I'm not sure in which format, but there will be a description of the commands.
Right.
Of this list, what I'm saying here, there will be a document explaining that. Because this is even not the final list, so you do need to have the final list of commands for the satellite. Yes.
Okay. And we will do this again in detail, or this is the detail one that we're talking about already during the phase that you go to Thailand and you play around with actual mission control and translation.
Yeah, the idea is to use this again. So what we're gonna do today and tomorrow is to do some things. We don't have a satellite with exact setup, so some things we're going to have to fake it, to mock it.
Right.
And then the idea that when the training is in September, if I'm not mistaken, or later in any case,
so that's
there will be people coming and you already have the satellite in the sky and you will actually be using this command which we practiced today, with the actual satellite, with the actual commands. So it's going to look, in terms of content, it's going to look very much the same, but here we are adapting some things. For instance, I will not let you now press some buttons because I don't want to mess up that satellite. You'll have more freedom on your own satellite. Show you? No, you want that? Okay, we'll change. We can break this one then. But the explanations will be similar, probably with more detail, because you're probably going to hang out somebody from the space segment and I'm from the ground segment, so they can go into more details of exactly happens. For instance, here when we execute stuff, there's things that I cannot show you the results in a satellite, like reset the flight parameter. We will practice that, we will send that command, but I cannot show you the result of that because I don't want to disturb other setups. But in September or October or when it is, you're really going to be able to get flight parameters, you're going to be able to change them and really do as you will do.
And because there's only the limited time for each day, right? And we have to plan which day we will do what we are doing, right? How to practice what command is it, right?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you have the slides for tomorrow as well. Something I prepared is that, so if you get these instructions to do that. The idea here from the training, from at least with me, is somebody has instructed you on what you have to do, because I'm not so much from the space segment and I really don't know the operations of your satellite yet, and it's still in development as well, so we're finalizing that. So based on instructions, engineering instructions you have received, we will be able tomorrow to execute those commands, so to do an operation work. If you are here as an engineer and you want to know what kind